Hello friends. It seems like people came. There's already 7 people online. How nice. So let's look into Cypress Studio, and you cannot see my face. So that didn't work, but now you can see. That's great. Alright, so welcome again. I have some new lights, I have some new background here, so you can't see my wife's knitting anymore. See if it works. Well, we'll see. Let me know if you like it or not, or whether you even care. You don't have to. Alright, so last week Cypress has announced Cypress Studio. So some exciting news here, and well, for some people it was exciting, for some people maybe not. For me personally, I don't really know how much I'm going to be using this. It seems cool to have some kind of record and play tool. But we'll see what it does and how useful that actually is. So we have the documentation here, and we have my app here, and as always you can find it on GitHub. So if you'd like to see it, let me just show it to you. Send the link into the chat. There it is, and there you go. So let's start our app and let's see what version of Cypress we are actually running. And we can find it in package JSON. Oh, let me just make this a little bigger so you can read that. I forgot to put that in. I have a stream checklist. Seems that I didn't include this one in checklist, so I should probably do that. Alright, Cypress, where do we have it? 6.2.1. That's an old version, so let's go ahead and install the latest. And I'm using npm for this, so install Cypress latest. Oh, good evening, Metro Bear. Nice to see you again. We got some questions coming in from YouTube as well, whether we can write an automated code from scratch. So let's see about that. Let's see if we can do that. I actually don't know. I haven't been playing with this yet. So let's see. It seems like this is still an experimental feature. So what we need to do is to enable this in Cypress JSON. So let's do that. We are all installed, so that's great. Let's run our app. So the app is really easy to start. So if you check out the GitHub link, just clone the repo to your computer, type npm install, and then npm start will start your application, which looks something like this. Local host 3000. It's a simple Trello board, and hey Andri, nice to see you. All right, so let's add this. Did I copy that? No, I didn't. The flag. So we need to add this to Cypress JSON attribute to the configuration file. So let's add this. So just like that, I enable this to true, and we should be good to go. So we can extend a test, apparently. I think I saw this in a video. We can extend a test, but I'm not sure if we can write one from scratch. But I mean, that shouldn't be such a huge problem, since we can just create a simple test that will do a visit and then we can continue. Probably, that's my assumption. So the first step is to run the spec. That's what they say. So we should have a spec already, and there's a new transaction user journey. So let's do that. Let's create a new test. I'll go into my Cypress folder and create a new studio file. And I'm gonna just write an empty test trying out studio. Oops. Studio. And let's see what happens if we run that. So let me actually open Cypress. And bx start. Not start, what am I thinking of? Cypress open. So if you're new to coding and if you are a manual tester, that is actually the part that kind of got me excited about Studio. If you don't have experience with coding, I think if you want to write tests with Cypress, I'm pretty sure you need to gather some knowledge of how apps are built, what is HTML, what is CSS, what is JavaScript. I don't think you need much, but I think you need some. And let's see. So we have this coverage thing, so I'm going to disable that so it doesn't get in the way. And I think I need to put it in the env. Yeah. Let me just copy this so it doesn't get in the way. But if you're looking into working in test automation, and if you want to look into test automation, I think Cypress is a really good way to start. It has a really simple syntax, and like 4 years ago when I started using Cypress, I barely knew how to write a function in JavaScript, and learning Cypress has actually opened the doors for me to learn more JavaScript. So I really recommend that. So what was I doing? Coverage. I want to disable the coverage. Coverage. False. Good. And that's going to restart our browser. And let's jump back into the studio. So we have opened an empty test. There's nothing in it, but I can see a new icon here. Add commands to the test. So it seems like we have it here even though we have an empty test. And oh, nice, tutorial. So we got this studio beta test body studio commands. Okay, so it's going to record and it's going to create a new section. We can create new commands by interacting with your site as an end user would. Then we are going to save these commands directly to your test file. Nice. I assume that if you are going to save these commands directly to my test file, I need to have my file opener preference checked here. So this is a section in the settings, in the GUI mode, where you can define whether you are using Visual Code, Vim, or something else. But basically what's your default editor. And whenever your test fails, you get this option to open your test right inside your test editor. And if you don't have that defined, you can define it just where I showed you in the settings. So I assume that would use the same setting. Let's get started. Oh, please enter a valid URL to visit. So we can actually start without even visiting. That's cool. I really thought we were not allowed to do that. Okay, localhost. That's where our app is stored. Okay. And it's got this nice blinking icon like we are recording. We are live here. So let's see what it actually does. My app is full of data CY selectors. So it should be able to read my selectors, and I'm really actually interested in what kind of selectors are we going to be having in our test. So let's see, I click on this, and it seems that it has caught the selector, which makes sense because we already have a selector playground in Cypress that has been available for quite a long time already. And you could actually configure this selector. So if you don't use data-cy selector attribute, then you could use some kind of different selector, like data not cy but data test or something. And this Cypress playground would actually prefer that over data cy. And you can set up the preference of based on your liking. So it seems like this works, and we can actually delete that if we don't want. Okay. And we can, what can we do else? Can I rewrite this? Nope. But it gets the selector and it clicks on it, which is the action I did. Interesting part was when I close this, it would not only get the data cy cancel, but actually the element below that. I wonder what this is. I don't think I recognize this. Hey, hello, the trouble. And also, saludos to Chile. I'm sorry, I probably totally mispronounced your greeting, but hi to you. How are you? Let me see what I just got here, because I'm curious about this. Let me maybe make this. Can I make this a little bigger? Yeah, that works. I think that's more readable for you now. Don't know how. It's hard. It was hard to read even for me. So yeah, let's make this bigger too. Now the icons are a little squished, but we don't mind, right? Hopefully. Okay, so what's this? What's this? How did you find it, Cypress? Let me actually look into the element, and I'm clicking again. Okay. So let me find this. And we have our elements panel here. And I have my data CY actually on the SVG icon. So that's the create new board cancel. Can't really see it whole. Yeah, here it is. Hey, this is the element. This is the X thing that I have clicked. And it has actually found the element below that, which would be Y115. So it seems like it looks even below and selects the attribute. That's interesting strategy. Maybe it's not a strategy. Maybe it's just how the thing works actually. I was surprised to find this. So okay, so let's start something else. Okay, so it registers the click inside, and it registers probably my typing. So new board. Oh, nice. And when I type enter, it actually types the enter. So it has the ability to find the special keys. That's cool. Let's see what happens when I save the commands. Oh, it is going to run the test again. All right. So when I save that, it's running the test again. Oh, it's going to probably run the test again because it would save the file and it would automatically reload as I save the file. So if I turn that option off, what's the option to run test? No, what was it? Reload, no. Change. My autocomplete is going. Watch for file changes. That is it. That's the one I was looking for. So if I say it to false, I'm just curious about this. run my test again. So okay, and let's add some new commands to this. It's going to run again. That was interesting. Why did it run again? That wouldn't make me happy if I had like super long test already, because I have a couple of tests that take quite a long time to complete, and yeah, oh whatever. Okay, so I click, I add new list, I save this, and what happens if I save commands? Oh, I found the bug. Yeah, somehow this doesn't work. Not sure why. Do we get some console error? Doesn't seem so. I think we just broke it. Well, can I reproduce this? I wonder. Cancel worked. Oh my, what's happening? Oh, we're stuck in a loop. Well, okay, we gotta give those guys a break. It's a beta feature. But it has created how many of these boards? Way too many. Let's see how many boards we got. We got... Oh, it's going to take the data ID. I'm wondering what's going to... Oh my. Let's not select. Let's select. Let's use actually the playground for this. Data cy list. Would that be? It has created 16 elements. Why 16? Why this magic number? I don't know. But that's interesting. Let's look into our file. Maybe something happened over here. Yeah, we did a little load testing over here. That's what we were saying, that at least my app holds the pressure. It seems so, yeah. But I mean, the app uses just a JSON file inside my computer. So I'm happy that actually the streaming held the pressure. If we didn't like just snap out of the stream because I created this weird loop. Alright, so one more thing we can see is that we have this comment inside here. So that is generated with Cypress Studio. Let's delete this. I don't know how this happens, and maybe I'll play with this later in the evening and file a bug report if I can get my finger on this, why this would happen. So let me add a before each hook here. So the app I have actually has the ability to reset the whole database. So I'm going to do that. It's just going to be a post request reset. This is the weird API I have in my app. You probably wouldn't find that in a production app. And if you would report that immediately, testers. Oh, I turned this off and I'm wondering why my test isn't running. So let's run all the tests, and you could see that I actually only have one board now. And whenever I restart my test, I'm starting with a clean database. That's what this request does. It's just a API request and it wipes the database clean. Alright, so we have generated our test. Let's see what happens. It's interesting that when I click on the studio, it actually restarts the test. Let's close the studio and it restarts again. And when I start the studio, here it is, it restarts the test. I'm not sure about that. We can give feedback here. And we have a Cypress discussions. Oh, that's great. So it seems like there's discussion already in here. That's cool. Okay. We're going to get back to this in a minute. So interact with your site to add task commands. So let's try this again. Let's try to create a new list. Oh, interesting. So I typed, added backspace, and actually it added also the backspace. So can I edit this? No, I cannot like edit this directly, which would, for some reason, that would make sense to me. Like if I click on it or double click on it, I would like edit this right here. Not sure why. Maybe, but I can delete the whole thing. But then I'm clicking this again. Well, maybe just close this all. Let's just delete everything. And now I'll add the list. Oh, that was interesting. So I clicked somewhere else, but that might be my app. That might be me not writing my app properly. So I didn't click in the beginning. I clicked somewhere like here on the bottom. Yeah, that's, oh, okay. So I found the bug on my app. I need to make sure that this works properly. So what can I do? I can restart, I can save test. What happens if I restart? It's just going to restart the whole thing. So it seems like the reason for this button is that we actually need to restart the whole test in order to make the studio working. And this is interesting. So I'm clicking all over the place, and it seems that it's registering these clicks. So this might be a good thing to think of if you want to create your tests. You might be clicking all over the place, and those clicks might not be useful for you. I'm wondering also, because you can position your click, and I don't think that Cypress Studio actually takes this into account, because if I have a list container, which is this blue box, and I clicked over here, oh no, that's the board detail info, sorry. So, or is it? No, it's this. Okay, so there's this element over here in this big blue box, and if I click on the edge, it's still going to, the command is still going to click in the middle, because that's how the click command works. It's actually clicking in the middle of the element that you want to interact with. Sorry. So it kind of makes sense. Like I imagine it might be super hard to implement, but let's actually make sure that this is the case, because I'm assuming here. So I click on the very edge of this, I save this, and it's just going to, oh no, it doesn't work. Why doesn't it work? So let's try to save test. No, whether I click save command or save test, it doesn't work. Does it show some error over here? No, it doesn't. Yeah, why would it? Okay. So now when I run my test again, okay, it seems that the button is just not responsive, and maybe it has something to do with the option that I did. Watch for file changes. I disabled it because for some reason I thought that might be, yeah, that's going to make the test restart. Oh, okay, so now I know what the bug report will be. So if I set this option to false, the option for rerunning my test is not going to work well. Let me see if I can reproduce this bug. Oops, sorry. Okay, but first we look at list container, and you can see it's clicking in the middle. And I imagine, yeah, like maybe it wouldn't even make sense to implement like the locating of the click on the element. Maybe it would. I mean, certainly would be, I think, too much work for too little benefit, because normally when you click a button, you just click a button. But it is a good thing to have in mind while you're using this tool, because it might be crucial for you to actually click right on the right spot, or maybe not to click on the spot right in the middle. It will still, I think, just as you would with selectors, I think it would still like find the interactive part. So if you have like a button with a drop down and you click on the button, it won't click on the drop down, obviously, or vice versa. But if for some reason your test wouldn't work as expected, this would be a good thing to know. So let's look into the studio, and yeah, we got a couple of more clicks, and it seems like every time I create a Cypress Studio command, it's just going to add these comments over here. So let's save this. And now let's test the assumption that the option for watching for file changes actually broke this. So let's add a new list. So we progress in our test and save commands. And now it works. Okay. So you found the bug. Yay. But at least you know. Alright, so yeah. There's a comment on YouTube that it is like Selenium IDE, and this is exactly the reason why I think it was worth building this tool. I'm not really a huge fan of record and replay tools, or how do you call them? I'm not really sure on the name actually, but when you like click on the page, interact like a real user would, and then it would just magically spit out a good test that will like be awesome. I think we need to dig a little deeper than that. Like, still, look at this thing. I have created a test totally with my Cypress Studio. I'm not doing a single assertion here. So it's not really a test, it's an automation script, because I'm not testing anything. I just have a path or a user journey. I have it automated, which, I mean, it has its value, and you can definitely find bugs. If this test would fail, we can be for certain that the user journey is failing, so we need to fix that. At the same time, if I create it, so what I'm doing here, I'm creating a new list. I click on the save button. I don't check anything, and I would call this user story that given user is on the boards screen and creates a new board, and will create a new list. I'm sorry, I'm not good at these. After I click save, I will be happy that my script has passed, but I'm not actually asserting that this list was actually created. I'm not asserting that these endpoints were called as they should be. So there's always some examination going on while writing a test. So I think these record and play tools, they are awesome at opening the door to your learning, and that's what I think they are. I don't think Cypress is selling this as some kind of magical tool that will help you test everything and like put any person behind this and they will be able to write tests. I don't think that's the case. But I think it will be useful, at least for maybe showing the basic route. I don't know why I deleted this. Let's start with something else. So we tested click, type, check, uncheck, and select. Unfortunately, I don't have a select in my app, but I have check and uncheck. So let's record something else. So start my test and let's record something else. Let's add a command, and now I'll create a new task. I'll type enter, and I'm going to check this task, and then I'm going to uncheck. So this is nice. It seems to be working. Oh wait, what's happening? Something happened, not sure what. So we have this block that was generated, and I clicked on new task, but it seems it didn't register the typing. I didn't even notice. Did you? Let's run this again. Let's start where we left off the last test. So let's add a, and I'm going to, I clicked on this and start typing new task. Oh, that's right. So it didn't register. We found another bug. Okay, it didn't register. Not sure if that's a bug. It depends on how you look at it. I mean, when I clicked on this button, the input field automatically was focused. And this is what I mean, like, it's a good, these studio things or recording tools are great for if you want to have, if you want to get familiar with testing. They're a great way to learn, get, command, click, type, check, uncheck, everything. They're not going to solve all the problems for you. Don't know if that's the ambition, but I certainly think that might be the belief here. So my input field is already focused. As I clicked on this add new task, it would focus right in. And Cypress would not register this because I'm not focusing manually during my clicking. The app focuses for me. So it would register if I clicked on this. Oh, what am I doing? Drag and drop. So when I click on this, I start typing. Actually, not even typing. It seems like this is completely ignored. And see, I don't think like this is necessarily a bug of the studio. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not like 100%. But yeah, what I'm doing is that I'm already focused. So when I start typing new test, new task, and hit enter, it's going to like run this API endpoint, and it's going to create this studio thing, and the check uncheck is actually registered. And this is also a nice thing if you're learning. So why is this check and uncheck and not click? Well, because this is an HTML element. This is actually an input element, and we got various of different input types in HTML, and that might be a checkbox, it might be a text, it might be a select box, and what else? There are a couple of more input elements, and there are many ways you can interact with them, And some of Cypress commands are actually made to do the proper action for the proper HTML elements. So like the check and uncheck, these are designed to interact with this one. So let's save this, and it's going to fail. So let's just delete this, and instead of clicking inside the input, we are going to type new task, and this should make it work if I assumed correctly. Yeah, almost. I forgot to type enter. So let's type enter. And there we got it. So we checked and unchecked. So why even have check and uncheck command? Let me show you. If I have my command check twice, whether I click on it once or twice, I'm still going to end up with the box checked. This might be useful. I actually had Retrobear, we got into a discussion on Discord. By the way, join the Discord channel, Discord server, and different channels that are there. We had a discussion on how to automate a certain scenario, and we were talking about how this check command is going to always leave the task or the check input element is always going to leave it checked. So even though I clicked on it twice, at the end of my test it was still checked, so it wouldn't check and uncheck it. If we did that with a click, if we did the same interaction with a click, we are ending our test with the checkbox unchecked. So we can still interact with the element by clicking on it, but we are actually getting it to a different state. And that is because we can click on anything in our app, but for HTML elements that can have different states, like checkbox or select box, you can actually, using the proper command is actually just going to get it into the right state. And again, using Cypress Studio is a great way to learn about this, because you click on a checkbox and you would maybe expect a click, but you will see a check, and that's awesome. So let me see. I don't have the select box, but I would really like to try it out. Do we have some page where we can find a select box? I think we can find one. There's the GitHub repo, the internet, and there's like everything on it. And I'm not sure if this is, yeah, okay. This might be it. A/B testing, add remove elements, drag and drop down. So these are basically simple little apps you can open, and yeah, so I get inputs, and basically you can interact with them. So we got this number input, which is, I was actually expecting different types of inputs. So this is a number type of input. And the reason for having these HTML elements is that different browsers actually can render them differently. So if you're viewing this on your mobile, then you would see a different set of options for you. And that can actually help create a good user experience. So if you know that this is not some kind of div where you just click on something, but it is an actual input element, you can make the user experience for your mobile version much better if you're creating an app. So inputs, maybe select, shadow DOM. Oh, nice. Is there? So there's only one input, select. Where can we find a select box? I'd really like to just quickly find a page where I can have a select box and doesn't seem to... There are checkboxes. I don't think the checkboxes are that context menu. Nope. Let's see, digest, authentication, disappearing elements. Oh, drop down. That might be it. This is exactly what we need. Okay, cool. So let's select this address. Let me create a new test. I'm going to name it select. I'm going to create a new it block. Actually had it. Yeah, there it is. Select an element. Not an element. Select inputs. And let's type CY visit. Let's visit this page. I hope it works. I'm not really 100% sure if I have my base URL already defined in the Cypress JSON, how that's going to behave. I think we should be fine. Maybe not. Yeah, we are. We just had this little reload. By the way, if you're curious about that reload, check out Gleb Bahmuto. He made a video just this week on this, and he's explaining it magnificently. Is that a word? Yeah, English being my second language, I sometimes really stumble. Oh look, I'm live! I wanted to look, where's that video? Just so I can... Oh, now you can see what kind of weird things I'm watching. I need to update my subscriptions.
Hi, today I want to show you how many people use the basic...
Lab is here. Okay, so let me just send this to the chat. And there you go. Okay, back to the test. So we have our Internet Heroku app drop down here, and we have successfully opened it. And we got option 1, option B, option 1, option 2. So let's try adding a command. Okay. Let's see, when I click on the drop down and select option 2, it's going to select number 2. It seems like this is working. Okay, get drop down, select number 2. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. No surprises there. So, okay. I guess there's not really much to say about this. Actually find this really nice. And whoever you find that wants to like learn something new with or learn Cypress at all, I think this Cypress Studio might be a really great tool. One thing that we didn't really touch on is selectors, and since I have my app already marked with my favorite selectors, then the Cypress Studio works really nicely with them. And it might be an issue, like I'm wondering what the selector strategy would be, but I would guess it would just mimic this selector playground. So if you find a very weird selector in your app, I suggest you start adding these data selectors. I know it sounds kind of not really intuitive, or doesn't really sound like a best practice right when you first hear it. I, however, have had the option to try it out, and I was using class selectors before. I was using this, and I can tell you this is much better. It fits really well. If you're working with developers, I think it fits really well with their flow and the tester's flow, and you can just write really stable tests. And you learn something about HTML along the way, so I think that's a win-win. So I wonder how the playground will work for different weird selectors. There's also an XPath plugin for Cypress, which probably won't work. Well, obviously Cypress Studio was not really built for using XPaths, but maybe we'll see some kind of addition from, I don't know if from maintainers, but from contributors probably. So yeah, that's it. Okay, I think it's fine to wrap it up now. So thank you for coming today. This was awesome. Thank you for interacting. And again, if you'd like to watch some more videos, you can find them all on YouTube. If you want to check out my streams, I stream every Monday. Seems so far. So meet you next Monday. And if you'd like to get some more Cypress tips and tricks and explanatory blogs and videos and things like that, you can find me on my webpage. It should be down below. And following me on Twitter or LinkedIn or whatever is your preferred social network. Meet you there. And if you want to talk, come join the Discord chat. We talk about all kinds of different stuff there, and if you need help, we'll probably be able to help you. There are many people that use Cypress, so hopefully we put all of our brains together and find the right solution. So until next week, have a great week, and yeah, see you next time. Bye folks, this was nice.